Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's live stream. We've made you wait a little while, but we're now here. Let me close this. So, this week, with me on the stream, there are actually two people. So as last week, we have again Millennium joining us, or in general. But today we have a new guest, which is Tasnia.
Hi everyone.
Can you guys hear her? I think she has to talk a little bit louder.
I'll come forward to her. Hello.
So she's one of the friends of mine here at university, and she's very interested in art. I think we should start by showing some artworks. Do you think that's okay? Millennium.
Yeah, certainly.
Let's
what
quickly
exactly
go
do you
through
want to see?
them. No, I mean I'll be sharing her artworks and we can talk a
Oh,
little bit
wonderful.
about them.
Yes, I would love to see them.
Okay, then let's go through some of them, so that everybody knows what kind of things she's doing.
Yeah, so I do mostly.
So there you go.
Yeah.
While you set that up, I'm going to read a few of the comments so I don't get too far behind. Prime Planet writes, "Do your best!" Exclamation point. Blaze Osman has returned. He says, "Hello."
Okay.
Wow. And that's drawn in
Paper.
pastel?
No, it's paper, watercolor.
Hmm.
Right, yeah.
Wonderful.
Do you draw these? Like, do you draw analog, right? You don't do digital painting.
No,
so
I
much.
don't do any digital painting. It's all analog for me. I find it easier than digital painting. And more interesting in a way. But then again, I don't know much about digital painting.
Like, how long have you been doing this?
Well, actually a very long time. I've been doing that since I was a kid. But I've started watercolor since I was like 10 years back or so. Like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Do you draw often humans? Is that your main motive, or
Sorry?
like human like people portraits and
No,
stuff?
actually I started portrait like a month back. I haven't been drawing humans before. I just did sceneries and still lifes and things like that. But it's been just a month that I've been drawing people. So yeah.
I would like to ask, with this particular piece, if there was anything you wanted to capture of this moment. in
Well,
particular.
this is actually a pretty common sight from where I come from. So yeah, you can see like people after a long hard days of work, even if they don't have a place to go, they can like fall asleep in their workplace and it's like very peaceful for them. So I wanted to capture that, like the sense of peace that they get even when they don't have a certain place to stay in. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get.
I like how this painting in particular, it kind of does have a dark atmosphere, doesn't it? But it's supposed to be a very peaceful scene.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's mostly the chiaroscuro that's working here because yeah. But the theme, the entire theme of it is actually peaceful, but the painting, the colors of it is pretty dark, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some other paintings then. We have here another one. Do you want to see the other ones? Which one do you want to show?
Oh,
Of the other ones too.
I forgot the sequence of it, so you can just go through.
Ooh, lovely.
Okay, I'll just go to the last one too. Yeah, so this is Tasnia then. Welcome to the stream. Stream. Okay, let's move back here. So unfortunately, she won't be sharing her drawing today. I think you said something about you don't like other people seeing you while you work.
Yeah, I like doing my work before I show it to people, like the finished product, like, so yeah. Though a few people is okay, but then if it's a large amount of people, it kind of like throws off my confidence. So, yeah.
Did you ever have that, Millennium? Like when other people watch that you get nervous or that you can't work? Hello?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. When I first started streaming on Twitch way back when, this was 8 months ago, and the moment I saw the view counter jump up, I was like, oh my god, someone's watching. And I would get so excited, and I would just start talking really loud in a very fast, high-pitched voice, and I was trying to explain what I was doing, because I was originally starting on Blender before I moved on to Clip Studio art for 2D design as well as ZBrush. But I would just like freak out. But after about 8 months or so streaming, it just kind of became normal.
It took you
in a
8
digital
months.
sense.
How long did that take you?
Okay, no, probably that's about what it takes, anyways. No,
I
I just didn't
after-
start it until like 7 years into my career on YouTube. So I guess that's quite a while too.
So you didn't like face that problem with people?
Ah, you mean like people watching me while doing things?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I was very nervous about people watching for a long time. I would always be sitting in the last row on purpose in school, so that nobody could ever sit behind me to see what I was working on. But I got used to it, because in the end there's nothing to be criticized, like, when you think about it.
Well, you mean like people not judging what you're doing, right?
I think it's fine when they judge it even. I mean, at this point I gained enough confidence that I can, even if I'm criticized for what I'm doing, I can just say, well, that's my thing. I don't really feel scared of being judged in even a negative way.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine with me.
That's rather interesting. Do you feel, because this is one of the things I want to touch on with that question in particular, and this goes out to both, do you feel that having people in analog actually physically present is more demanding versus the digital where you have viewers? And we really should read a few of these comments as well. That was just a question to throw out there.
Oh, sorry, I might have not caught that quite well. Can you quickly repeat it?
The question, I think it's an interesting aspect to kind of explore is when we as artists, when are we more nervous in a digital sense when there's people watching that we can't see, or are we more nervous in an analog sense when people are actually physically present with us?
It's an interesting question. On the first stream, I was just as nervous as I would be in real life, but in fact, there are no people around us in reality. Although there are, how many people watching? 30? 32? Quite many.
32, yeah.
It's like sitting in front of a normal-sized classroom, and I don't know.
Yeah, but you'd think that there's no people, but then at the same time when you realize that there is people watching you.
We should ask you then. I mean, you're on a stream for the first time, I think.
Oh, well, yeah.
How does it feel to you?
It's not really as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be. I mean, unless you look at that, it's just...
Oh, the
it's
chat?
Yeah, it's just us in this room. But then when you look there, and there's a lot of people watching. So, yeah.
Indeed.
All right. I'm going to start reading some comments because Daniel doesn't do that. All right. Blaze Osmond, welcome back. Gabriel, we're just going to call you Gabriel. Hello to you as well. Albane Edge, hello yourself. Hello. Hello. Drake, hello. Planet Prime, hi. All right. Okay, let's see. Albane Edge comments. Take your time in response to, sorry guys, give us 5 minutes to start and get ready. Randy Sulu says, okay. Albane Edge writes, we can, in terms of waiting. Albane comments, and she has a cute voice, to Tanzania. Wishing
These are the
Iris...
important artist qualities, right?
Exactly. Don't worry, it'll get weird for me and Daniel here in a second, Tanzania, when the viewers start talking about bromance and stuff of that nature. Oh,
Yeah,
it'll
well,
happen. It's
been
happened the
watching
last
these
two
videos
streams.
for some time, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
actually,
great.
Tasnim has been watching our streams. Like one
Oh,
of the few
no.
people around me who has actually spent the time to listen to them. She knows you probably better than you'd think. I don't know.
No, but he has only appeared once, right? Last time.
Twice, I think.
Twice, was it? That must
Sec-
have
Twice
been
so
once.
far. Let's see what we got. Millennium has a weird echo. Hopefully that's been resolved. Oh, hello there,
Yeah.
says Douglas Rosa.
I had my mic kind of close to the speaker.
Ah.
Sorry for that, but I tried to fix it.
Blaze Osmond writes, it's an art class all over again. I'm just going to wait till you guys pop up the ways of seeing. Pop up the ways of seeing. I don't
The
know
ways
what
of
that's
seeing?
for. Ismail writes, are we going to do a face unveil again? Question mark.
A face unveil?
I think it's.
He's talking to... Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Go on.
No.
What was I?
Please, I insist.
Yeah,
He didn't
sure.
even catch it. You did, I think. Because if you watched the last couple streams, you caught what the face reveal is.
I'd love to know what you think that means. I'm not sure.
I think it's about the unveiling of the face at the very end of the sculpting.
Like what? Like the faces I worked on through the
Yeah.
week? Am I getting that right?
I think what I think it was referring to is when your face popped up on my Skype for just a moment, and then everyone's like, then you're like, go find it yourself, and everyone's like,
Wait,
oh,
it
link
did?
that moment.
I missed
And then
that.
wishing, yeah,
Somebody actually spent the time on
it was,
finding that.
yeah, it was
Really?
wishing
Put it into
Irish.
the
She went through the
comments.
entire video and found it.
It's nothing special. It's not. It's just a very dark picture. Anyways, so
We kind of, it's become kind of a thing, well, at least I'm pushing it, that he looks like Kaneki Ken from the Tokyo Ghoul series in that picture.
do I?
Yes.
In that picture, maybe. Okay.
All right, Douglas Rosa writes, your work is pretty famous in our Discord server, Daniel. That is Dylan Goo's server. Lucy's back, says I'm freaking late.
Can I quickly ask something about Discord? How does that even work? Like, what is this server thing? I'm really new to this whole platform.
Are you asking me?
Well, yeah, you can answer if you know the answer.
There's a long list of things. You get a digital server, basically it hosts, you can create a server for your fan base, anyone can join, you set up a link, they can post stuff, you can set up mods, you can set up bots to mod your channel to make sure that no one posts content they shouldn't. You can have specific chat rooms for text and voice. It would take too long to explain it otherwise. All right, I've read enough comments.
Sure. We should talk about a few topics. I mean, I know comments will keep coming, but that's all right. Like, I was interested in one topic, that is positivity. Like, how do you guys think that positivity is involved in becoming an artist? Who wants to get started on that one?
I've said enough this stream, so I'm going to pass the baton to you,
Yeah, sure.
Tasnim.
Well, for me, I think positivity is very important because when I paint, I actually put my emotions in my painting. Like, whatever I'm feeling, I do that. And you need a lot of positivity then, because even if you're feeling a negative feeling, then you have to be positive enough to be sure that you can actually put up a painting, even when you're, like, feeling low or something like that.
Well, what would happen if you were, like, in a bad mood during a painting? How would that show?
Well, if you have seen the last painting that I did, the one of the girl. The face on the hammer. So,
okay,
yeah,
probably nobody knows what
yeah,
you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. But when I was doing that, I was feeling like very low. But
Okay.
then again, it's like you need to have that commitment in you that no, you can get that done even if you're feeling bad. So you need to have a lot of positivity in you, and you need to have that resolve actually, that even if you're feeling low, you can get it done.
So is it about being able to continue your work?
Yeah,
even if you
because
feel positive
sometimes,
about it?
like, when you're feeling low, you really don't want to do anything. Like, you like
quite
stop
true.
doing things, and you don't feel you really don't feel like doing anything at the end. But yeah, so if you have that commitment in you, and if you have the positivity, even if you don't feel like doing anything, you can, like, I believe that you can get things done.
There's a funny story actually about us with the topic positivity. Like, when I met Tasnia a couple of months ago, we were talking about this topic, and I was like asking her, how can you be so positive about everything? I mean, it's not as easy as you make it sound, because she was so positive. Like, in anything she does in art. And then I try to explain like all these different excuses why I'm sometimes getting negative about my art, and she would just be like, no, but it's not that difficult. You're overthinking it, and so she managed to change me. Actually, I'm so much more positive now.
You do overthink a lot, and that's not good at all. Like when you're overthinking, your brain stops working, doesn't it? Like it gets tired. So yeah, and then you mess things up. So if you don't it's very easy actually to do if you don't overthink and procrastinate.
So don't think too much about it and be happy. Do you have any techniques, Millennium?
You know, the way that I look at positivity, I see it as a tool in an entire set. It's a color and a spectrum. Because as you know me, I sometimes, Daniel, I talk about very dark things.
You do.
I've been to a lot of funerals. You know, I'm very associated with I guess you could say the darker side of things in certain aspects, because I'm fascinated by them. When I've worked on a project, I probably mentioned it before on stream, but I have a project for the last 5 years I've been working on. It's come to a close. But during that time while I was working on it, there was positivity to work on this project. And it turned out, when I had actually worked in a positive mindset, that I had really happy memories of writing, and I can look what I've written and go back and read it and experience that and understand the scene, that it was very lighthearted and joyful. And it was a very positive mindset. But I can also go ahead a few chapters and see the blackened despair and the guilt, survivor's guilt, anything you want to call it, of what I was going through while I was writing in my life. So I think positivity to keep going is only one of the tools. It's only one of the energies that is in motion, emotion, used to create work. It is a tool in my kit, and I'm constantly adding different emotional states, different altered states to being able to approach my work. I think overall positivity is a good thing, but if I approached my work, my life's work, which I've dedicated hundreds of thousands of hours to.
So what it comes down to sort of is that we're looking for tools to be more productive and motivated, right? From what I can hear.
I would say not so much motivated for me. It was dedication. I did the work. I did it even if it put my life in jeopardy, in peril, to where things were not good. You know, I was very ill at the time. I was very physically ill, and I was pushing myself further than I should have been. But I had the dedication to my work. Even if I died, that was okay with me. And whatever state I was in carried over, and it became part of my work.
I see.
So it's to me it's
about overthinking.
Yeah, overthinking. But
it's about holding a project and deciding you're going to finish it, having the dedication and the love, the adoration for it, and to work through it with whatever state you're in at the time you're in, because it will become what it needs to be at the end. And that's it. That was a complicated one.
But don't you think, like, to be dedicated, you need a certain amount of motivation?
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. I feel there's a kind of the entrance point in like when you first get into something, let's say bodybuilding. People, they start working out and they get great results really fast. Their muscles start swelling up, they lose weight, and as time goes on, they stop essentially getting bigger muscles or more stamina. The progress slows down to a crawl, to where if they're 1 pound, if they gain 1 pound of muscle, that's a big achievement after years of bodybuilding. You know, it's the slow, gradual buildup, and that's where the dedication comes in. You have to most certainly love your work to get into it, but the dedication to keep it going after the fuel is gone, I think that's what I'm trying to hint at.
Talking about motivation and drives that keep you in art, for me personally, it has been changing actually, basically every year. I started out pretty much doing it for the people around me because it would give me attention, and then some point it changed to being sort of something that showed me that I'm capable of doing something great that not other people can. And then at some point I was doing 3D as a tool to achieve like other things. For example, I would want to create movies, and 3D was just like a mean to reach that goal, to tell a story. And it changes a lot too, in my opinion, like what you do it for and what drives you in the end. But whatever. Do we have any comments asking stuff about that?
I don't know, but I'm actually going to start replying to the comments in chat because they've
You
stacked
can
up.
talk to them here, you know.
Well, I do a lot of talking, and I feel that I take up the space because my thoughts aren't necessarily the most coherent. So we
just
have a new
enjoy
guest on the
being able
show.
to sculpt
I've
you.
gotten used to talking over you, Daniel, but I don't want to do that to your new guest. I don't want to be rude.
Okay. Well, we should still take a look at the chat, I guess. I'm kind of curious myself. Where did we leave off?
Okay. Quick question, everyone. Where are you from? Asks physics simulation.
Yeah, that's come up a lot.
Well, I'm from Austria. Probably everybody knows. Whatever.
I'm from the U.S. of A. United States of America.
Where is that? I've never heard of that country.
Don't even, Daniel.
Isn't that somewhere, like, in America?
It's in the Americas, yes. It is. It's in the middle of the Americas. I'm still waiting. There's someone who hasn't said where they're from.
Oh, sorry. I'm from Bangladesh.
That's why I was silent this whole time.
Yeah, I'm from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Wonderful. Very diversified group.
Today there was supposed to be another person from Nepal, but sad story. When people stay up until like 5 in the morning and then they're too sleepy to join the stream.
I should appreciate you saying that on camera.
It'll be fine, it'll be fine.
Alright, Wishing Iris writes, so, ... how close is she to you, Daniel? Question mark. Do I need to butt in again?
Well,
that's
roughly 1 meter close right now, but usually more like 30 meters.
Do you just kind of walk around with this measuring stick and go, I need you 30 feet away exactly at all times?
No, it's great because here at the dorm where we live, basically, there are a few people who are into art, and so it's very nice to have people that you can gather up with and talk about art and stuff. Something that I personally never had, really, before in my life.
Wonderful. Okay.
Can I throw another question in quickly? Tasnim, what do you think about 3D art? Like watching us do things here.
Well, it's pretty interesting for me since I haven't tried it out before, but it's very different from painting, like analogical painting, because in painting, like you're like in direct contact with the work, right? So you're doing it, and it's kind of like sculpting, like you're sculpting the painting or something like that. But here you're like, it's just monitors and things that you're using to do it. It's pretty, it's completely different, and yeah,
isn't that kind of a sad side of digital art?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but because there's really no emotion in it. Like whatever you're doing, you're just doing it. You're just using calculations and. Yeah,
that's true. Unfortunately,
but like when you're painting, you're actually you're like like I said before, you're in physical contact with your work. So I think there's more emotion in that than this.
Have you ever thought about that, Millennium?
What was the question?
If it's like what should I say? What did you say? Like, if it's like bothering you that digital art is kind of this surreal thing where it's no emotion inside, really, it's just calculations, pretty much.
You know, it in a way it can feel superficial, but when you break down anything, it's superficial. Our bodies may seem like these impossible machines, and in many ways they're marvelous and miracle of evolution, or whatever you want to look at it as. But when you break down our cell structure, we have the same cell structure as animals in the world. To me, 3D is an imitation of life, in the sense that paintings are an imitation of life. And when you break down the molecules, the molecular structures, and you break them down even further, from proteins and lipids and such, and the primordial goo of life, if you will, when you really break them down, it's molecules and atoms that are holding us together. And to me, 3D is kind of an imitation of that, because it's polygons, faces, vertices that are holding it together. It can be a very lifeless thing, but it's learning it. The whole point of it is for it to be more lifelike. The whole point of 3D.
I like that view too. I think for the moment also it is, like, personally I feel also that it's quite equal, as in the moment, but the only thing that I feel a bit sad about is that 3D and generally digital art has less of a, cannot really survive, because you can copy it 100% accurate, and you can delete it without ever returning it. So
most certainly.
So that's something you can't do with like analog things.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna read some comments real quick because we need to get through these. I feel bad for the viewers. Okay, let's see, where are we at? Will Daniel ever make tutorials? Yes, when he's ready. Trust me, I've been hounding him. I don't know when that's gonna be. Where are you from? Yep. What are your current projects?
Can I ask? Okay, I don't even need to ask, but what tutorials would you guys like to see? I know they want to see a character tutorial, actually.
Oh god. I was just trying.
But I mean, like, if there's something more specific, as in certain tools or certain techniques that they see me using, I would like to hear about them. Because if there's something smaller scale that I can actually do with my time, then I might want to give it a try in the near future.
When was the last time you did a tutorial?
Well, more than half a year ago, I feel. The real big tutorials that I've been making are now 2 years ago. But I mean, all of you can see that I'm not 100% like confident in sculpting yet. Every week when I come on the stream, the sculpts look a bit different. I experiment with new techniques. Today I started out with the space mesh, which is again something new. So I don't want to start teaching about something when I still haven't found what I'm comfortable with, and I hope everybody can agree with that. That's the only reason, really.
Wonderful. All right, why don't we go over what our current projects are real quick?
Sure. What we're working on?
Yes, I'm trying to get through these questions. Man, that's my job. That's why I'm here.
Well, I'm just practicing as always. I don't even know what this character should be looking like at the end. I'm just seeing which direction it goes, and then I'll continue it in that direction.
I'm currently learning, because I don't have Maya, I'm learning Blender hair particles right now, and how they work, just basically how to work with it. Even if I don't use Blender to make hair, it's a free way to understand how different processes work for creating hair, because I've tried ZBrush, it's fiber mesh, and it's in its infancy. I don't really like using it. It's a great tool for many things, but not for what I'm looking for. Tasnim,
Well,
any projects?
No, not really. I just draw and paint when I feel like it, that's all.
How lovely.
It's quite sad that we couldn't get her like on camera somehow with paintings, but I guess that's for her to decide.
Alright. I'm actually gonna have to... Whoa, that's a lot of comments. I'm just gonna have to skip through and pick a few of them. The things you do to me, Daniel. Alright. Albane Edge? No, I'm probably not gonna leak any faces. If you want to go see Daniel's face, go back to the first one where I appeared as a guest. Alright. Let's see. Just wait, dude. They can't read the comments in real time. Yes, indeed. Millennium is kind of a slow reader. No.
I'm slower. I'm way slower. If you leave it up to me.
Millennium X Lucy, anyone? What? No. Danny, have you tried clay sculpting?
You asked me that, Tasnim.
Yeah, I did. Because it's so... I thought it was similar to digital sculpting, but I see it's not.
Is it not?
It's
Now
not,
serious.
not really, because...
Really?
Yeah, it's quite different. As you said, like, it's very hard to get the clay sculpting clay to be smooth and things like
Yeah,
that.
basically my opinion on that is I tried it, but I always get so frustrated with how clay doesn't want to behave. It's just this rough surface, and I don't know the techniques to get it smooth. And in ZBrush, you just use smooth, and it's smooth. The digital world behaves as you want.
Wishing Iris writes, you should make a Discord server.
Okay, I don't really know about Discord though. But one thing that I want to throw out is that if there is people who want to talk or get me somewhere to talk with people, you can just contact me at any time, you know. It's not like I'm not reading my emails anymore just because I'm doing streams or something. Like, yeah. Anyways.
Smart choice on that. Let's see. Lucy writes, I'm not the positive or negative kind, I'm the realist kind. Good is good, bad is bad. If there's room for improvement, I will go for it. That's in reply to positivity as a starting point. Oh, Lucy writes, sorry, but I'm a dude, so no Millennium X Lucy. Don't worry, I'm entirely okay with that. Michael Brock writes, man, relativity is just kind of throws a wrench in the whole positivity thing. Relativity? It just kind of throws a wrench in the whole positivity thing. Douglas Rosa writes, you should try checking out iHas Toys Discord server.
Relativity, can I quickly touch on that? I thought it was interesting. I don't know exactly how he means it, but the way I interpret it is that, like, when you judge an artwork, it will usually be looked at relative to everything else, right? Because you can't say something is good or bad in an absolute sense. If you know what I mean.
But I think that depends on the viewer, doesn't it?
Most certainly.
Like
but I mean, you're comparing it always, right? You're saying it's better than this or it's worse than the other things that I've seen so far. You might be comparing it to your general
idea of
art, right? Well, anyways, I don't want to make your job too hard. Millennium want to go on reading.
Yeah, I just feel bad for the audience, you know. I feel I'm in a bad situation because I have to talk over you guys and then I have to try to get these comments done. Let's see. You should try checking out iHas Toys Discord server, which is Lanya, Lazar, and Hazardous Arts Company.
Those guys are amazing.
No idea who they
are. They do like sculpting and also kind of a similar style, but they produce their own figures.
Yeah.
And they stream a lot. They will really give insight into the process of making these figures and stuff. It's a good place to learn. But again, I'm really outdated and I don't know what Discord really is, so I don't know.
Guys, I'll give him a crash course in Discord. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to make a server. So I don't even recommend it. Like, I almost regretted making my Discord server. Albane Edge. I was confused when I was called Lucy. Lucy can be a man's name. Wishing Iris says, I ship it. Jesus, what have I started? Lucy writes, Millennium has forgotten about us. No, I haven't. Wishing Iris says, see, you've already... Are you kidding me? Drop this subject. See, you're already missing him. Smiley, smiley. Douglas Rosa, unhappy face. It's boring without interactions. Yes, indeed. You should make a new game called Super Comment Stacker. A game where you leave comments to pile up. Lucy writes, what about make famous quotes out of what they are talking about? ? question mark. Albane writes, that could be fun. Lucy writes, why am I even reading the conversations? I'm only going to read the questions so we can get through this. Let the fanfics begin. No. Let's see. I think the locals call it school. Not sure what that is derived from. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
School? I don't know.
One important question, though, is she a nurse? Daniel is a nurse, isn't it?
Who is a nurse? I'm a nurse.
I think you're asking about Tasnim. Are you? You're not a nurse, are you?
Are you a nurse?
No, I'm not.
Okay, we're in the clear.
It's okay, we have to clear it out of the way, so...
Oh my god. Okay, we're almost to the bottom, and then you guys have free reign. I'm just gonna shut up. Maybe you could use that shame in your favor. When I see something wrong in my drawings, I try to identify it so I can correct in a future drawing. I think that goes back to seeing things as good or bad, judging them.
Yeah, but I quite agree with that, because whenever I draw, I ask you to criticize it, don't I?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Getting critique is very important. I agree with that. But it can be harsh too. So it is important to have the ability to listen to like critique and to integrate it in a positive way in the way you work.
Most certainly. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot I was supposed to be doing reading. And then I was like, who is this lit guy? Then after a few seconds, I was like, what? Wait. That's what Lucy writes. Don't worry, streaming is an art. It's really hard getting the hang of it when doing art. That's what Douglas Rose writes. Prime Planet writes, I'll start drawing in a cave till I'm confident enough to come out. That's a really good idea. Trial by fire. Just make sure you don't burn yourself.
Hey, you have to talk about that.
Okay.
Because that's a really interesting topic. So what do you think, Tasnim? Should people go into caves and draw until they're good and then come out?
Not necessarily, no.
I want to give a quick thought about that too. Oh, do you want to get started?
No,
sure.
You start first. No,
okay.
Add on that.
Because my idea about it is that usually people will want to do art because they hope of getting something out of it. Whether, like, for some people it's attention, for some people it's I don't know, whatever it is, people have motivations to do art, right? And then they hope to get this satisfaction of having achieved it by going somewhere and practicing forever. While actually going to a cave and leaving basically social life is very often like exactly the opposite of the place where they want to be. While people stay like they will continue to hope that this is actually what eventually will lead them back to society and into the position where they want to be. But I question if that's the right thing to do, to distance yourself for a huge comeback instead of just trying to be around people and trying to get involved. But what do you think?
Well, yeah, I quite agree with that, because I think people want to be appreciated at the end. So if you're like hiding yourself away, and it's you alone, so yeah, I don't think there's much appreciation in that.
And how are you going to stay positive?
Who, me?
In a cave.
Oh, in a cave. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Maybe, yeah. The thing is, I draw only for myself. Like, yeah, I don't have any specific goals or anything. I just draw because I like to. So if I was in a cave, I think it would be fine for me because I'm just drawing and it's fun for me. And that's it. Because, yeah.
I gotta make this one lighter. I'd like to respond to that, and I would say I'm like completely on the opposite side of the fence. You know, for a long time, I didn't show my work really to anyone, and I really haven't shown my true work to people. I don't do that. I show stuff that I'm learning on. I show test materials, if you will. People in real life don't really know what I do, and I've kept a really tight lid on projects, you know, that I've been working on 5 years, and so my view of it, as the stories I've told Daniel that he's gonna, the truck story, if you will. If you can put yourself in an environment where it's just you and your work, and you can walk out satisfied with how much you've grown, then you were worthy. Let me tell you that. But that's not a path for everyone. That's a path for the person who's looking for a really, really tough trial, but who can walk out of it with a new self-appreciation of suffering and determination. That's the kind of person that rips tendons in their arms and still uses them regardless. You know, that's the guts way.
I love the insight in like everybody's ideas about art. It's so interesting. Because to many people, isn't art just a job? Like, I mean, of course, it's like a huge thing to us. It means a lot and everything, but imagine, like, let me make a good comparison. Imagine all doctors and nurses would be talking about their medicine like this. Like, you have to feel life, the meaning of it. All those.
You really do that.
Daniel,
do that when
medicine is completely different from art. One saves people, one entertains people. That really worries me that you said that, because you were an EMT. People's lives were in your hands.
Did you think of it like that?
No, did I say that? I was thinking about it like that. But I mean, it's funny though how we keep talking about our skills in this philosophical way. That art is so close to philosophy actually, and like ways of thinking. And
no, I think there was a comma where Daniel and Millennium can actually become philosophers.
Really?
Yeah. Oh no. Let's see. Jesus Christ is back, by the way.
Is that like a name or something? Yeah.
No, yeah, he's there.
I see.
All right. Softwares. I'll just announce that. On the left, that's Daniel Sculpting. He's in ZBrush Core. It's about $200 on the website. A Pixelogic. I believe it comes with a drawing tablet, a Wacom drawing tablet. I think they still have that deal up. That's ZBrush Core. That's the light version of ZBrush. It's really good. On the right is what I'm working on. It's Blender. It's free. All right, moving on. Oh wait, someone already said that. Douglas Rosa, thank you. They are pretty cool. Leonia is working on a figure with Ilya Kuvishkov.
Yeah.
I apologize for butchering that.
These people are amazing, as in figures and character art.
Okay, Prime Planet writes, I don't like to be around people, just staying in the cave, kind of deprive yourself of inspiration and ideas. Shall we talk about that one?
I guess it can be something positive for people. I mean, you know, I'm also talking just from my perspective. But, sure. Try it out, go into a cave and let us all know how it was. I'd love to know it.
Man, I was in the cave and I got a lot better.
You did.
My cave was for 3 months. Like, let me tell you the story of my cave, and it'll be a quick one, because I know I like to drag on a lot. But, so basically, I was in a position where I had a lot of free time on my hands. My job sucks. It still does. But I knew I wanted to try the animation, and I knew I wanted to build characters. So I saw that Daniel had a tutorial. This is before I knew him. I went in, I started doing the tutorial. Man, I was at it like 18 hours a day. Every day I could get as much time in as I could. I was working by myself alone, not talking to anyone, not interacting with anyone, just by myself in the room that I rent out. And I burnt out my computer. You know, it died on me completely, and I had to build a new one. I had to take out loans so I could get the money for it. That was my cave. That was proving to myself I could do it. And through that experience, I actually met Daniel, and we started working together on a game project. Of course, you guys know about it. But the cave doesn't necessarily have to be forever. It can be a temporary experience.
I was just going to mention that. It might be that a cave, like the cave situation, is a good midway point sometimes to get you back on track.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the time that I had in my cave. I'm probably not going to go back to that.
Did you ever have that, like, phases where you would be very intensely drawing and painting and stuff?
Not really, because I multitask a lot. So yeah, I'd be like constantly doing a lot of things together. So yeah, I never had that a point where I'm only painting and only painting.
You know what's
So,
interesting as in how we differ, like me and Millennium with you, is that both of us are very strategic and we have like a goal and we do everything to get there because we feel like this is our passion set.
right.
But you just do it out of a natural interest.
Yeah,
I feel.
because yeah. Mm-hmm.
I respect that.
I'm sure there are way more artists around the world than you would think, but so many that are just out there and not really sharing because they're doing it for themselves. And
I think most of them lose it like halfway through because of everything else that's going on. Everything else that's going on in their lives, you know.
with other jobs and such.
Jobs and things and education and both.
Interesting. All right, I guess I'll get back to comments because it's silence. Watch your profanity. Sorry, sir, this is a Christian server and no swearing. Wishing Iris writes, I just bang my head on my desk until I get satisfied. I know the feeling. Watch your profanity. Yeah, we already read that. Well, it's too bad because I'm accustomed to swearing, writes Lucy. You don't make it noticeable here, I must say. MD writes, ZBrush is sculpting only. Yes.
But the real ZBrush, the full version, has quite good polygon modeling tools. Like, it's not really polygons, but I mean they give you the tools that are similar. You can do boxes and like hard surfaces.
Yeah, the Z Modeler brush is a great tool. I'll just say this. It's not very optimized, and it's better if you learn with it right off the bat than touching traditional poly modeling because it can get really confusing the way it's designed. Let's see. Also, poor Daniel. I think this point we're paying more attention to the comments than to him. Yes.
That's alright. I just enjoy being able to sculpt here, actually. I mean, if I was doing this stream alone, then I would have to do everything at once, and I'm bad at multitasking.
So why don't we have our newest guest? I don't even know why I'm talking like this. This isn't my stream. I would love to hear whatever you'd like to talk about, Tanzia.
Yeah, sure.
What's happening inside you? What's going on inside your heart, if you want to share?
Wait, is he talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got lost. I was watching the sculpting and I got lost. Well, it's quite interesting because I'm looking at both of your sculpting and it's so different. Like, yeah, I can see the Millennium's working on hair, but like before, like when it was the entire thing, yeah, it's like very different. Like the base that you started from and then the one that he started from are like very different. So that's quite interesting.
I bet that must be interesting to like join it complete. Like it's still art, right?
Yeah, it is art. Like I'm not criticizing it like that, but it's just very interesting to see. The thing, like I was talking about that before, like, you know, different styles people have while sculpting.
Yeah.
Like when people are painting, like they have their own style, right? So I was wondering if it's same for sculpting, right? When you're like digital sculpting, do you have like styles of your own?
Oh, most certainly.
Okay.
Absolutely. Daniel and I actually just swapped sculpts like a few days ago.
And it was funny how incompatible we were. Basically, both of us ended up... I don't know how we did it, but we took the sculpt of each other and then we transformed, like, changed it so much that there was absolutely no resemblance to at the beginning. It was basically just a new sculpt from the beginning on.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if this was his sculpt, just start by blurring everything like this, and then change the whole proportions in the big scale like this. I want to make a character like this, and then you start detailing it again, and then you're like, oh, it's something completely different. Pretty much.
Like, are you like randomly working on this like till you get something that you like?
I have like times when I'm strategically working on certain areas of the face, but today I just want to get a face that I don't feel disgusted of when looking at, because it's so difficult to get to that point, to not feel bad about your project. So I'm just kind of letting it lead myself.
I can relate to that, because sometimes you can like finish one thing, but then you still think that it's not completely done, so you keep on working on it.
Do you have some questions, or can I bring up a topic?
Me? No, I'm good.
I was thinking that many of the viewers are probably in the situation that they want to become better at art and everything. I would like to hear both of your opinions on how people should, in your opinion, approach art, or if you think that it shouldn't be approached strategically maybe, or if there is a certain method or whatever it is.
Well, for me, I think it's just practicing, because like when I first started painting, I would just do one thing over and over again till I got to the point where I liked it.
Was it a conscious decision for you that you said, I want to be good at art?
Not really, because like I said, I just did it because I liked doing it. And then after some point it was like, okay, so maybe if I did this it would be better. But before that I was just doing it because I liked it. But then after I realized that I could make it better or something like that, so yeah, it's just practicing and a lot of case studies, I think. So you like take a painting and you study it for some time, and then you try to, I think for me it was like more like replicating at the beginning, because I was replicating things more before. Like now I just do things, I just make things up. Like whatever paintings I do is just my own creation. Like but before that I was replicating things and looking at pictures and paintings and studying them. So yeah, I think that's pretty important when you're like trying to improve your art.
I can agree with that. What do you think?
I got lost. I'm sorry. I started laughing and I had to hold it in.
Why do you laugh?
No. It was what Jesus Christ said.
Oh man. Why do people have so confusing YouTube usernames?
No, it's not confusing. That's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's the Son of God. He writes, "Your sculpt is on point, Daniel. My dad created humanity, so I would know." So what was the question?
What was it? What can people do to get into art, to become good at art? Because many of the viewers probably are in a situation that they want to get more into art and learn about it. What's your take on that?
To sing that terrible old song, it takes different strokes for different folks. And the world doesn't move to just one beat. To the beat of just one drum. What might be right for some. Whatever. I can't remember the entire song of that. Anyway,
I'll get copyright hits, you know.
Yes, you'll miss out on that $1.30 you would have made off this stream. I'll have to mail it to you.
I think they can hear the screams.
Yeah, I can hear the screams. I'm getting a little nervous here.
Just ignore them.
Okay. I go to visit you in Japan. That body in the that body in the tub, yeah, that dead one, yeah, just ignore it. Just ignore it, Eternal. I'm like, okay. It's like, wasn't that a good movie? I'm like, it was kind of bad. He's like, no. You've just got to ignore the bad parts. I'm like, yes, this is it. This is how you turn any movie into a perfect movie. Just ignore the bad things.
Hey, but that's actually a really good strategy. No, but I'm serious about this.
That is not a good strategy
but
improvement.
You need positivity in life, don't you? Okay. Yeah.
No.
For improvement, you need to focus on what you're bad. Okay, you're right about that. But at the same time, it's not bad. It's just what you can improve on.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing you gesturing with both hands at a dead body in a bathtub. It's not bad. It's not bad, guys. I'm just sitting there. Jesus comes, puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, "Yeah, that's pretty bad." I'm like, "I know, Jesus. I know." Daniel needs you. He needs Jesus now. Okay. Now that entire segment has just completely derailed, how can people get involved in art? I would. I mean, I didn't do this, but I would heavily recommend it. Follow what you love about art.
That's a general one. Sorry to say that.
Well, I mean, just try it like that. Follow what you love about art, and work at it hard, and really be present with the work whenever you're doing what you're doing at the time. If you're writing, then be present with it. If you're drawing and painting, be present. Be in that moment. You know, we are creatures so often defined by trying to live in the next moment, in the next second of our life. What tomorrow is going to be, what a year is going to be. Can I land this job if I start this career path? Don't do that. Be in the moment, and you'll find a very fulfilling quality of working within the work. The quality will be fulfilling for you.
It is way easier to achieve short-term goals as well.
Yeah, and I guess from what I'm saying is there wouldn't even necessarily be a short goal. It is the experience of being integrated with the work, even if it's just your first drawing and you don't particularly like it. As long as you were in the moment, then that is what counts. That's when it's fulfilling. That's when it enters a zone of it can't be judged as good or bad, because the experience you had was quality.
I have another little approach. I mean, I agree with all of you. It's just more and more aspects that we can add to it. But getting involved with other people who are doing it is also very important. Actually finding locally other groups that are doing 3D or art or whatever it is can be huge motivation, because as soon as you have people around you that will all the time talk about nothing but art, you will also just, you know, go with the flow. It will be natural. You won't even be thinking about, should I be practicing or not? You're just around the right people. So surrounding yourself by the right people is also huge. Something that can hugely benefit you in your career. Do we have new comments?
Sure do. Yeah, I'll read them.
Thanks.
Do you want to read them?
Yeah, I would like to.
Alright, you can read them.
In the middle. I can try, but where did we left off? I'm so bad at reading. No, let's have Tasnia read them.
Oh, that's messed up.
But can you say where you left off that we can find it?
Okay, pretty much the last one I left off about was where Jesus Christ had written, "Your sculpt is on point, Daniel, my boy."
Let's find it.
It's right from it's close to the bottom.
Okay, you don't have to read all of them. You can just pick if there is anything.
Oh, okay. So alright, this is funny. Someone asked, so Zen, is he into Buddhism? So who's into Buddhism?
Buddhism? Oh man.
Where was that?
I'm so
it's just
bad
at the
with...
end, like the third comment from the end.
Oh. I don't know. Ismail, could you tell you? It was either me or Daniel. Could you clarify? I'm actually curious. Who's more Zen?
Who's Zen? Thinking of it.
Who's Zen? Yeah.
Who's Zen?
There hasn't been any comment.
No. He's saying like Zen, the state of peace, the state of mind.
Oh, okay. Like that.
And he was writing it while someone was talking. It was like so Zen. You know? Oh,
I think that tells how much you were into Buddhism.
Okay, I think that was for me because I asked him the question.
Wishing Aria's Millennium Showdown nilled out, my bicycle got stolen. Really comic, that's totally him. Jesus Christ, God. Bad timing for my net to be moving slowly. I think a lot of people's having net problems because there were some comments about it.
Oh no.
What is going on? Sorry, I didn't...
net trouble.
Is it?
It's like slowing down and people are like delayed on the stream.
Well, I can't do anything about it, so... Too bad. Well, how about we go on with another topic?
Sounds wonderful.
So, what about the social aspects? Or no, I have two topics that I can offer you. You can pick which one is better. Art as a job or the social aspects of art. I think these are both some interesting topics to share about.
You know what? Let's let comments decide.
Comments. Sure. Sure, comments. Let us know.
I mean, unless you had something like maybe Tanzania wanted to particularly, talk about one of those topics. I'm just saying, maybe comments, maybe make her decide.
What do you think?
Maybe we should like get the first one first and the second, like art is a job and then art is
Okay, we'll talk about both of them
yeah.
anyways. So then, artist as a job. Does anybody want to get started?
I have no experience working for other people. I have experience working for myself in a film, cinema sense as a directorial and writer, as well as, producer. But beyond that, I can't say what it's like working in art for other people.
There was something I wanted to kind of touch on, which was that there is this difference between commercial art and artists, where the two of us here sculpting and doing 3D are probably like the commercial artists who get a job. We get the task to make a character for a certain application. Well, people like Tasnim, more likely, if she was going to do this as a job, if she ever wanted to, would be making, well, artworks of her own and wherever it drags her, and do it kind of for other purposes.
It's what, yeah, because I would love to do art as a job, but the thing is, like, from where I come from and things, even if you want to do art as a job, but like, when they say like talent as a job, use your talent as a job and things like that, but that necessarily won't lead you to the point where you want to be, like, specifically from my country, because if I go back, then there are like very few opportunities for artists there. So unless I'm moving somewhere else, then I probably won't go into art as a job, because
You said you would like to go into art as a job, but what kind of job do you imagine in that sense?
Well, like I said, recently I've like got into realistic paintings. Like, I try doing things as realistic as possible. So I think I would like start with portraits of people, and then move on to like creating my own things, own paintings.
Sounds like a good plan.
But that too, only if I move away from home, because if I am like living where I am, then I don't think that's a possibility.
I also think that it's difficult to really plan for becoming artist as a job, because it's not like everybody can become an artist, as many as they are, and whether you'll be successful or not is really hard to predict. So it's always good to have also a plan B. Millennium, what are you doing, by the way?
I'm just experimenting with the different hair settings, because I'm not really getting what I want out of this in terms of settings. But art as a job. The world has never been kind to artists. If we look back to the days where the aristocracy ruled the many of the European kingdoms and nations, the term patron, that's really, I think, where it had a high point. What I mean by that is a lot of artists who showed potential and talent were sponsored by rich nobles, members of the aristocracy, because there wasn't necessarily a market for their talents. In the olden days, in the medieval times, even the Dark Ages and before that, art has never been enough to feed every artist. That's where we get starving artist for. It's interesting that we have Patreon now versus Patron, which is a crowdfunding version of it. Instead of nobility seeing an interest in our skills, it's rather so much a group of people seeing a validity in the quality of our work and trying to support us to continue and make more of it.
And to do some self-promotion, if anybody's interested in supporting me, go to Patreon and search my name. The comment is in the link.
That was the worst plug, and I'm not even saying that. That was the worst plug, Daniel.
I'm just kidding. You know, I'm not really even accepting the support there too much anyways. Like I'm like taking the support for every finished project, but since I don't finish any projects, it has been without any, what do you call it? I haven't received anything in more than a year. So if you're interested, you can also just try it out and look at the posts. You'll get a bunch of 3D models that I worked on, and in the future maybe more. But anyways, please move on. I didn't want to drag the conversation to this direction.
Well, the last you certainly did.
I did actually. Yeah.
I'll say about it is hard to, I think, make money from your talent if you keep yourself aligned with just pure art. It's a hard, because there aren't that many opportunities. It's hard to be an artist in this world, as it always has been, because it is a pretty tough world. But it's easier when you align yourself to be marketable and you have the portfolio. A friend of mine, Vasquez, I'm not going to mention her first name because I don't do that. She, for a long time, studied Blizzard's artwork, and amazing 2D artist, analog and digital, and even 3D, would make fan art of Blizzard characters, and she actually worked on like a Blizzard card game and has credits for that. But to make herself more applicable for that job that she was aiming for, she had taken time up, changed her art style, and learned more the Blizzard art style. So it's definitely hard to do it as a job, but there are ways it can be done.
That's actually a very good point that you're touching on, which is that getting a job in art is more and more becoming a matter of marketing. Because now, let's talk about the artists, not the employed ones, basically the ones who make their own pieces and get them sold somehow. The reason why they get popular and the reason why people like their art is because they're really good at marketing. The way they present themselves is very special in a way to the people. You see how all these artists have certain styles, right? People will come to them for getting, for example, realistic portraits. They'll revisit them because they know this artist will be having this sort of picture, and so it's a lot of marketing when you think about it.
Most certainly, and I'd like to mark on something really quick. Van Gogh only sold one painting in his lifetime, and he starved, you know, and I think he killed himself in the end.
I don't know.
He didn't kill
And
himself.
now he's
What did he do
actually
then?
He cut off his ear.
Oh,
that was Van Gogh. I thought that was Picasso who cut off his ear.
No, but wasn't it Van Gogh?
Sorry,
I don't know.
I am like the worst person in history to ask. I can just sculpt.
I'm gonna go with you on this one, Tencent, because you're the painter
I
here.
think she's asking Google.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Google.
But people didn't appreciate Van Gogh's art until he was dead. So I just think that's a very interesting aspect. Just because your work isn't promoted now doesn't mean it won't be promoted after you're dead.
That would be funny.
Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Van Gogh who cut off his
So
ear.
tell us
Sorry.
another one more.
So yeah, he did cut off his ear. He retreated to his room where he took a razor to his left ear, apparently, according to Google.
And that was Van Gogh?
Yeah, according to Google.
Google
And what did
is
Picasso
so
do?
knowledgeable.
I remember he did something crazy. I know Van Gogh killed himself in the end. At least I believe he did. But he hung himself, if I'm not mistaken. What did Picasso do? Because I really thought it was Picasso who cut off his ear.
What did Picasso do?
Let's just Google again.
Well, I had to actually study quite a bit of art history during high school, but that was more about the styles and what the surrounding situation was.
It's funny because I keep on asking Picasso and it's Van Gogh who keeps on coming up.
That's true.
Bizarre indeed.
So does that mean we'll be famous after we die?
Almost certainly not.
Especially with digital art. Going back to the previous topic. I mean, how are they going to sell our file for $1 million when everybody has a copy of it already? The original file.
That would just be bragging rights at that point.
How can it even be the original file? They could maybe sell the hard drive, but then you would have to pay a lot more because it's like all the artworks the artist has ever made, probably.
I feel bad because Ismail wrote, yikes, this conversation is getting discouraging. Might be famous after you're dead.
Might be. Might be famous after you're dead.
Yeah. What's the uptime? What do we have so far?
I was thinking about, like, we're now at 1 hour 80 minutes, but we can go to either 30 minutes or so. Let's just go on for 10 more minutes. I don't want to do too long today, maybe.
Alright.
Hey, what does everybody think about my sculpt? I want to get some feedback. What do you think, Tasnim?
I'm bad at criticizing, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because you always have the same style of doing things, because all the last things that I've seen, they're like kind of similar. I think it's the way that you do this area, the lower face area. That's kind of
this area is this here.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to in all of your works.
I second that.
Yeah.
I really struggle with that area though, because if you have the nose, you really have a point that you can focus on. There is a good proportion that you can look at between all of these points, and you can learn them. But how am I going to learn this area? It's just a whole mass of smooth surfaces.
Yeah, but I think that you need to like study more people or paintings for that. Like, you know, if you look at more pictures of people's, then yeah, there's like a lot of different shapes and
I should try to, yeah. I'm also having this bad habit that I keep believing that I have to work without reference. I mean, I do have reference open, just to clarify this, but I didn't look at it much at all. I looked at it twice or thrice throughout the sculpt, so I'm really not making good use of the references that I'm providing myself with even.
Interesting. I'm gonna read a few of these comments real quick. Let's see. Jesus Christ writes, gosh, bad time for my net to be moving slowly. Well, Jesus, you need to talk to your dad about that, alright? MD writes, net problems. All those Black Friday shoppers slowing down the net. Yes, shame on them. Greed is bad. Wishing Iris writes, I left a question for the girl. Let's see if I can find that. Did you get that one?
not really.
Okay. Let's see. Who left a question?
It was Wishing Iris, I believe. Not mistaken. Okay, here's the question. Do you have any tips on painting and mixing colors? I paint as well, digitally but in grayscale. Color just confuses the hell out of me.
Alright, yeah. Do you have any tips on painting and mixing colors? I paint as well, digitally. Oh, okay, so, colors is, like, for me, it's, like, more... Yeah, I just experiment with colors a lot. Like, I mix a lot of I use, watercolor mostly. So the thing about watercolor is you really need to know what color you want to put in. Like, it has to be accurate, because if you know, when once you like put the color on, you can't really change it. Like, it's quite different from acrylic or oil painting, where you can paint over. So firstly, I would suggest like know which color you want to put in, and then you could like try different making different shades of it, and then trying. Well, at least that's what I do. Like, and start with a lighter color, and then you can like go into making it darker, because if you like go darker first, then you can't like really make it light. So yeah, I think that's what I do usually.
It's interesting, because we just talked about that before the stream.
Right. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, she said exactly the same thing. How did we get on that topic again?
We were watching that painting.
Yeah, we were watching
painting.
like a time lapse of a painting, and was like asking that it's so interesting how in digital painting we keep adjusting our colors until we are there, because we can do that, but the artists on paper and canvas, they some of them really have this ability to get the colors just right on the first try, and it's quite impressive to me.
No, but then again, it's only for watercolor, I think. Like, if you're doing acrylic or something like that, then you can like paint over and over again, as long as you... It's kind of similar to digital painting, because you can like change it as much as you want, but for watercolor it has to be spot on in the first go. So yes, just start with the like lighter shade, and then you can like go to the darker shades if you like it.
Interesting insight. Are you getting anywhere with your project, Millennium? I'm curious about how...
Yeah, because I originally made all the hair, but I did it with a simple, I guess you call it display, instead of having it on interpolated. And so now I'm going back and I'm redoing the hair with more of a defining realistic hairstyle. I mean, it's the same hairstyle, but now because of the modifier I'm using is different. It's gonna look different. So I'm just learning how to work with it and the different settings. I'm not really working on it that much. I probably could have had half of this done, but I was reading chat and conversing and whatnot.
True. I just noticed though, you can increase the step size of your hair. You know that, or like you have the corners. What do you call it? Go down to the display tab in the particle settings once.
Yeah.
And then there's the steps value. Try turning that up a little. Oh, is it the wrong one? Wait, then go to render tab. I haven't used this in a while, and there is
on render tab. I'm still looking for render tab. It's probably up top.
Something. Yeah.
Okay, render tab.
And
yeah,
a bit lower, there's again a steps value. Does that change anything?
No.
Wait, then on the left side, like way left on the screen, try scrolling down there, in the tools section. I mean, above. Yeah. Is there anything? Path steps.
Yeah, that helps.
Oh, because you only had one strand selected. I was looking at the others and was like thinking why those don't change. Yeah, if you want to get it more smooth, you can do it with these three things. I think the other are in object mode and for rendered view. But maybe that will give you some more room to play with.
Yeah, no, they're
knowing where.
If I select them, they'll go back to normal.
Okay. Yeah, right, exactly. In the particle edit mode, you'll need to work with the path steps on the left side, and otherwise it will use the values.
If I'm not mistaken, the paths are basically the amount of vertices in between the keys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the different clumping settings, because there's the clump, which controls the density of the hair, but it's only from one particular direction, if you will. I know I have to adjust the gravity settings so that it's not essentially pulling the hair strands away from the keys. So it's just gonna be an interesting.
I was going to work on hair today, but then I was saying it would be nice if I got to the point where I can start
I was about
here.
to ask that actually in a bit.
Wait, I have a good thing that I can do. Let me just stop this here for today, but I will show you quickly the other sculpts that I did through the week. So I'll just save this, and we can then go through them.
Wonderful.
Because I did one strand of hair this week. Because I did faces.
One whole strand?
One whole strand, believe it or not. And color.
Yeah.
You've seen it already, didn't you?
No.
I sent you the file, didn't I? The colored one.
Oh, wait, the colored face? Yes, I thought you meant the strand. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Let's see it from here.
That one that bore a striking resemblance to one particular character. Did you continue on that one?
Who does it resemble?
A character that I made. Created, wrote.
Oh. Does it? You can talk about it if you want.
No, not really. Don't. Secrets must be kept.
Okay. It's a secret then. Well, anyways, I tried working on color. Sorry, I forgot turning off symmetry at once, and so it's kind of messed up on one side. But that was this sculpt, and I tried going to hair, but I didn't finish it yet. I also worked on different things, but I'm not happy with everything. Let me just open the other one. Was it this one? I think so. Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's weird. I'll close it again. Sorry for giving his disturbing side. Anyways, and this is today's sculpt. And I have a few more attempts to the week that I didn't really save or keep track of. But this is kind of how productive a week of mine usually is. A couple of sculpts here and there. And the other time goes into studies for exams and whatnot. Okay. Do we have any other things we want to talk about?
I am just here mediating the chat, ruining your guys' lives.
Because I think we can slowly bring it to close if there are no other topics.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Great. Okay, let me see. In that case... Sorry?
I think you should read the rest of the comments. I think you should.
Yeah, there
I
are
should.
one you comments.
But I don't see questions there. It's like lots of people saying I'm tired, I'm leaving now, and hi, and where are you from, and sorry, actually these are not in the comments at all. I'm low on battery now, good night guys, that's in the comments. Hi, actually these are in the comments, I was just guessing. Then the next one was hi everyone. Hi, but at the same time goodbye, we're about to leave. Thanks, very helpful. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining us. Retopology? That is also a comment.
Do you know what it means?
I know what it means. It's the process of like you have a sculpt that has like lots of millions of points that you can't really work with, and then you make another mesh, that's what you call the 3D models basically. On top of it, that's more efficient. That has only, let's say, 1,000 points, but it still covers the same surface and it is almost the same quality. It's just like compressing a file. Let's call it that. Manually though. But you know, I don't think there is so much on the chat anymore, so we did our sculpts, we talked a lot.
Indeed.
You know, people can't see you nodding your head.
I'm nodding. Anyways, okay, thanks everybody for watching today. You guys too for coming.
Alright, thank you for having me on.
Do you want to say anything in the end, Millennium?
No, I'm quite satiated. I think it's been a pleasure on. I'm glad you guys, you invited me, Daniel. I'm glad we could have Tanzania as a guest today. Of course, I'm speaking as if this is my stream, which it's not. And goodness gracious, that's it.
Okay, wonderful. Then thanks everybody for joining, and see you again hopefully next week. Bye bye.